This is The Hard Naked Truth with your host, Michael Jeffriess. Each episode, we bring to you industry experts, disruptors, business owners, and even a few financial superheroes. It's time to let your guard down, embrace the naked truth, and conquer the financial jungle like never before.
Welcome back to the Hard Naked Truth. We're live from LYD 25 Unstoppable Growth Conference. I've got Soonah and Karen from Margin Maximisers on my podcast on the hot seat. I'm really looking forward to this one because they've got an amazing podcast, which you should make sure you search it on and subscribe to it. Make sure you press that subscribe button and listen to all the episodes. There's so much great content, especially for accountants and business owners on it. So, welcome.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the plug. That was really good.
So tell me a bit more about, I guess, Margin Maximisers business and what both of you do.
Okay. Well, we're here to support SMEs just like you are, MJ, with all your fabulous technologies and different businesses. We have just a little bit of a different slant from traditional accounting firms. We're more focused on the nuts and bolts and the operational side of the business. And so we can literally pick up a finance team with a CFO, financial controller, and then the back end team as well, bookkeepers, and lift and dump into a business and really get them grounded and have foundational work done, where we're finding businesses up to even $30 million turnover have grown organically. They're obviously doing something very, very right, but they've actually never really stopped to put that foundation in. And so it's all about that nice, great, juicy margins that we find and fixing their processes. And Soonah and I go in as a team and do our magic.
I think to add to that, we're very commercially focused.
Yes.
I think we come from entrepreneurial backgrounds, our parents, ourselves. And so we have that real life experience that businesses don't get from some business coaches or from advisory firms.
Mm.
It's not to mean that they can't work with them to get them to a point, but to get any further, you really need someone that does understand those nuts and bolts from the business, right from every single transaction. And one thing that we'd like to highlight is we are really operational focused. So operations drives your finance. It shouldn't be your finance team trying to push up on how operations should work.
Yeah.
So we do have a real education piece around, every decision that you make operationally has an effect that drops down into your P&L or balance sheet.
It's interesting because I was sitting on a panel recently on the One Life Club, and one of the questions was about choosing the right accountant and stuff. And I actually said, just because someone's an accountant doesn't mean they're a good business owner or operator. So, so in relation to providing advice, and I go, look, it's my industry, but I'm not disrespecting it at all. I've seen some poorly run accounting firms and probably not maximising their profits or margins that they should be doing. And like I'm fortunate in the fact that I started my career in public practice, then I jumped, public practitioners would say, to the dark side, and I went into commercial and CFO and COO roles. But I learnt the colour behind the numbers and the colour behind the operations and stuff, and what actually the key drivers are and what makes something successful. And I think sometimes, they're stuck in the black and white and they don't see, and, like someone will give me a set of financials and I go, they're wrong. And they're like, and I can see straight away without,
Yeah, and you pick it up straight away. Once you've got that commercial experience, it's really easy to look at something in 5 minutes and go, well, this, and this. And I think the other thing that's happening at the moment with accounting firms is they are jumping into that advisory, or they are so focused on revenue growth that they're doing work that they're not, specialised in, or they don't have the education piece around, like, for example, payroll tax or QBCC licensing. So we see a lot of clients that will come on board that have been doing that with their accountant previously. And once you have those conversations, it's pretty clear that the accountant isn't a specialist in that area, or has given the wrong advice, or lodged the wrong numbers.
Yes.
When collaboration is king. There's more than enough work out there for everybody. So it's not your strategy. Somebody else in the industry is.
Yeah, you should never be scared to collaborate, and you should always ensure that you don't take on something that you don't have the experience or the knowledge to do.
Yes, generosity in our business and referrals and collaboration is absolutely where it's at. You know, the SME sector is by far the largest sector in Australia, as we know, company-wise. And, you know, there is more than enough work, supportive work for all of us. And you know, if there's one message I'd really like to push, we had Rod from Evento Optum on our podcast. Love Rob. Brilliant strategist with assets and ATO, you know, debt management and the DNFs and whatever.
Hopefully he doesn't hear this. He's already got a big enough there.
we just love him, and that's when we really started this collaborative type of approach, because, you know, a lot of what we do, and this is heartfelt, it's quite altruistic as well. So we're all from the country, including yourself, I just learned. So, you know, yay for us. But my whole family, who are very entrepreneurial and have now they've got a fourth generational large business, but they're very regional people and they support the region still. And we're actually partnering with one of the fantastic not-for-profit support services in the Queensland regional and remote business communities. And so being able to have a longer reach, like we can only reach so far. We're a kind of a new framework, and we have access to other professionals, but we can only do so much. But then people like yourselves with your different tools and your different expertise, we're more than happy to recommend and collaborate, because those businesses in the regional or remote areas, some of them are quite large, but they're quite unloved too, because, you know, now we've got, you know, the new age of virtual. And to be honest, a lot of the younger entrepreneurial business owners are coming up now, and they're really finding their stride. And when I say younger, I'm saying up to 40, 45. And they don't expect face-to-face professionals sitting in their office having meetings. They would rather jump online, you know, make it all about what is actually needed, really punchy, deliver the value, and let them go along their way. And so we're all on the same journey to try and empower and give the knowledge. And that knowledge scarcity in the SME sector is something that's bugged me forever, to be honest with you, because I did my stint in corporate, and I was a troubleshooter for large manufacturing businesses, global businesses. And they pay big bucks to have a finance team that can give them that operational view, all their variance analysis, every way they can move their drivers, they will. And the SME sector hasn't had that ability, and we're only little, but we've got a big voice, and trying to drive that to solve that is really a passion of ours at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, we stick away from that 90-day plan. That's kind of what a coach and his advisor is too. So I had to jump in there. But we actually look at the operations of the business. And the difference to us is, yes, we identify those areas, but we help with the implementation of that.
Yes.
And that's a skill set in itself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And generally it's a 12-month commitment. You know, I mean, we literally, you know, I'm not a forensic accountant, but with my background in these large industries with very complex supply chains, I had to pick them all apart, and that was my charge, and then to literally help rebuild them so they understood their own business unit that wasn't performing. And so, you know, these things don't happen overnight. There's no quick fix when you're in the SME sector and you've grown with a bullet. We had a national, very well-known social media brand, and as a client, it was a mutual client, and they grew like a bullet, like exponentially year on year on year, and fantastic gross margins, but they had no controls within their business because they hadn't had time to do it.
Oh, exactly. That's the reason. You don't get that pause, and you keep putting it on. I'm going to do it next week, but after, and it just doesn't happen because you're just growing at such a rapid rate. And I've been in business. We've got a big group that happens all the time. That like we want to do, I really would love to have that big pause of like a week or two.
It'd be nice to implement that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look who I'm talking to. I mean, and look, I love what you guys are doing and having these discussions today and bringing the AI and the automation prevalent forward, because it is the way. And if you don't keep up and you don't embrace and love it and use it with humanity, I mean, let's start that's the big thing for me. Yes, it's going to bring efficiencies and it is a game changer. And I honestly believe, as I think you do, and the messaging that a lot of your amazing speakers have delivered, is that the landscape, the footprint that we're seeing today in many industries, including finance and accounting firms and financial support people like ourselves, it's going to change, whether we like it or not, and the change is coming,
The key thing that all the speakers have been talking about, and myself as well, is that it's the knowledge is going to be worth nothing, and it's the implementation and action that's important. You still need the human element to help in relation to that, and that's exactly what you've been talking about.
That was my kind of light bulb moment, I think, from today. But also on that, there was another, I think it was Stan Phelps, done a little scenario where you met with a partner and you talked about warmth of competence. And I chose warmth, obviously, because if someone is partnering with me or they're partnering with an accounting practice, they should be competent. That's an expectation.
Yes.
I don't think that's
totally.
I don't think that's something that you can live up. It's just an expectation. But that warmth is adapting and building those relationships. So your AI and your systems driven, making it a better experience for us. Yes, it's worth it. But what does the client see? So they don't care what strategies we put in place or what AI we put in place, as long as their customer journey is better, and that comes with that warmth and that humanity. So I think a lot of people are jumping on the AI not too much, but only thinking about it from our end, but you actually have to think of it from the flip side of that. Totally.
And Soonah pulls me up all the time, because I do get excited, because I'm thinking about the back end as well. But, the reality is, take our clients at Margin Maximisers, for instance, whom we love, and warmth and generosity and sharing of knowledge is something that, we promote, and that's part of our ethos. I mean, that's what we do. But ultimately, we are a high service partner, and we are a profit centre. We're an investment. We are not a service centre or a cost centre. We are an investment. So at the end of the day, we can be as warm and as engaging as we like, and we are. But if we don't deliver, our clients aren't going to be happy.
Yeah. And on that,
obviously,
I'm not sure what speaker it was that was talking, but we came up with like our little slogan of, we will make our clients uncomfortable.
Yeah, we do.
So we're warm and affectionate, but we question everything. Like, we're really asking, not the hard-hitting questions, but we're pushing back why this, why that, because of what we find.
It's challenging.
It's very challenging. But that's what.
And that's a bit of a journey. And look, we're not going to say we have all the answers, because none of us do. We can just be as good as we can be from experience, and that uncomfortableness. We go through that regularly with our clients, and we are as equally as uncomfortable. We're not going to sit there and pretend, this is a walk in the park. It kind of is not. And so we have to navigate those things. And that's where I guess I'm very confident that Soonah and I can do that. And we do it because we do genuinely love people and like people. And you would be the same, MJ. How many millions or thousands of people have you spoken to in your lifetime? You do get a feel for how to handle situations, and and we really draw on that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm very happy wearing that hat. Just to finalise it, you've been listening to the sessions. What are your key takeaway from each speaker? Well, not each speaker, but one particular speaker from the event.
I had a really big Minty's moment, and it's something, and I was going to thank you later, but I'll thank you now. I have never bothered to pursue my practice license, and after looking at all your tools that you're bringing out your legal tools and your other supportive accounting tools. I leaned over to Soonah and I said, that's it, I'm doing it. You know, I'm going to add that value to margin maximisers, because we literally can source, and your mentoring programs too, by the way, we can literally source a heap of really relevant support services for our clients. And why shouldn't we do it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And Soonah, you obviously can't say yourself on the panel.
Can't I?
You know what you want to do. Like, I'm an only child. I'd be claiming the mantle. Yeah.
We've spoken about a few of my main ones, which was the zip knowledge is worth nothing, and we spoke about the warmth versus competence. If I'm going to go again, I would actually talk about probably Stan on day one, and he talked about that flaunt it. I'm not as vibrant as for anyone that follows us, but I do really believe in what I do. I just don't shout that to the world. So I think my takeaway from this is to get more social and to get more faulty with what makes me me.
Yeah, and build your personal brand around that. Like, the personal brand content is so important now. Like, there's a small window of opportunity that's going to disappear as AI gets better and better, but then you'll be ahead of the pack.
Yeah, no, great advice. Great advice. Well, look at you. I mean, come on, you're everywhere.
Yes.
And I love the initials. You know, you've got it.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen and Soonah, for joining me on the Hard Naked Truth at LYD 25 Unstoppable Growth Conference. It's been fun. So
It's time to wrap up another episode of The Hard Naked Truth, where we've stripped down the business world and accounting industry like never before. Follow all of our socials and share and keep following this podcast. Remember, when it comes to running a business and protecting your assets, keep it hard, keep it naked, and keep it real. Stay naked, stay truthful, and keep winning.